The federal government filed non-additional grounds of appeal to the four it earlier filed in a hurry to block the release of the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu from custody. Recall that Southeast leaders had raised the alarm over an outbreak of tuberculosis in the facility housing the IPOB leader. Talk to us about the implication of these fresh grounds of appeal.
I think that everything is being done to ensure that Kanu does not get released during the lifetime of this administration. Efforts have been made in the past to uh, take a political view of this matter, this case, and see if the matter can be resolved amicably through uh, further negotiations, through engagement by both parties. We have seen worst cases decided um, on the round table. I've talked about brothers who were at war for 60 years, brothers who deployed some of the worst weapons against one another for decades. They still had to negotiate at the end of the day. Uh, a win-win strategy is not usually the best. A win-win strategy. So sometimes you have to look inwards and ask yourself if it is not better to make peace. We saw how um, in the heat of the Niger Delta Avengers crisis, we thought that force was the best way to approach the situation. But in the end, when we saw that Nigeria was losing revenue, they reduced us to less than 400,000 uh, barrels per day in terms of production, and they were sabotaging even our export terminals. Our major export terminals were being sabotaged, and yet we could not arrest them or lay our hands on them. The communities that oil pipelines crisscross them, some of them lying on the surface of the earth. Those are not places where you drop bombs anyhow. We had to engage with them. People like the current vice president was involved. Ibe Kachiku was involved. We engaged them, and they stopped sabotaging Nigeria economically. And oil production went up to even close to 2 million barrels a day. So for me, sometimes you need to negotiate. And I want to believe that even in this matter, it is still possible. Uh, but what we have seen is the Ministry of Justice coming up with grounds upon which it wants the appeal court, the Supreme Court to listen to its appeal. Remember that it was the Court of Appeal that set Kanu free. And in setting Kanu free, the Court of Appeal looked at the manner in which he was brought into our country from Kenya. And in the wisdom of the Court of Appeal, the manner of his extradition to our country contravened all known global best practices, contravened international conventions. And for this reason, the court decided to quash the charges and set him free. But now, in challenging this at the Supreme Court, where the federal government had pleaded that the implementation of that judgment, that order of the appeal court, should be suspended. Government pushed hard that the appeal court erred in law by simply looking at the manner in which Nnamdi Kanu was brought into the country and not looking at the gravity of the offense that he committed. So everything that I've seen that they are talking about here are all hinged on the fact that the appeal court looked at the procedure by which he was brought into the country rather than the offense that the Federal Ministry of Justice accused him of committing, which is inciting people in the Southeast and neighboring states to secession, campaigning for secession of the Southeast and neighboring communities. So they are saying that some of the laws cited, some of the conventions cited by the appeal court were not consistent with Nigerian laws, and that it should have used our own laws to decide that matter. It said the court misdirected itself when it relied on the manner of Kanu's extradition in robbing the trial court of its jurisprudence, saying it is inconsistent with judicial precedent of the Supreme Court. It also accused it of relying on international legal instruments and cases decided from foreign jurisdictions in freeing Kanu. My own argument is that if Nigeria willingly, without a gun to its neck, subscribed to international conventions, then we are obligated to obey those international conventions. Today it is Nnamdi Kanu, tomorrow it could be someone else. So to hear that it was wrong to cite international law and all that is something that I find strange. I don't think there's anything wrong in citing international law because Nigeria is part of the global community. And I do not even think also that the federal government was right when it claimed that it did not get fair hearing, because they did not prove that indeed they were denied fair hearing. All that this pushback is about is the argument that they did not, that the court of law did not look at the gravity of the offense he committed, but that it was much more concerned about the manner in which he was brought into the country. I know that this matter will, in the final analysis, be decided outside the courts, because I know that the president-elect said he would do his best to negotiate with warring parties in the Southeast. We want peace in the Southeast. The most enterprising Nigerians, talking about business, our people from the Southeast. We want a country that is indivisible, that is united, where everyone is pulling in the same direction to achieve real progress. And we want the tension in our country to come down. Whatever needs to be done has to be done.